We're talking with Brett Lutz from the Electric Cars. I can't believe I'm talking to you. I love the cars.
I love the cars too, Ken.
But the reason we're talking with Brett is because you used to work for Whirlpool Corporation at their global headquarters here in the area. Tell people what you did.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, and love to talk about everything going on in life, and especially stuff I used to do in the community there. I worked in Whirlpool in communications, and worked actually with a variety of folks that are obviously still hanging out in the area, and supported actually our global product organization, which was focused on electric appliances and all the cool things that we did there, and so it was a wonderful gig, and left probably about 5 years ago for another opportunity back in Chicago where I'd come from previously, but
And then,
still have a heart and role there.
yeah, absolutely. And you've had many roles here, including the most immediate past board president for Ghostlight Theater in Benton Harbor. Um, how are you transitioning your role there? You're still going to play a part?
Yeah, still active patron, still certainly supporting them by being there, by helping through the way that they make some hopefully good money, because they're always looking for great money in the arts. So I support them in that way too. And I just wrapped up. It was a fantastic run. I had been there since the inception of the Ghostlight Theater. Got them to a point, I think as collectively we got to this point where it became, a new entity to a pretty well-known entity there in the Benton Harbor Arts District, and putting on some great performances. And I felt like, having been away from the community for 5 years, physically, it was probably time to leave it in the hands of people who were closer there and could have more impact, day to day. So I transitioned out of that formal role just in December, and great to still be a big supporter of theirs.
And Brett, from the time that I've known you, you've been a performer. I've seen you on stage in at least one play, and like you say, you're a patron of the arts in this area. But why is it important to support the arts in a community like what we see in Southwest Michigan?
I mean, what I'll say, the same thing that I felt when I was there. It's incredible the amount of talent we have in the community, and quite honestly, the amount of places that you can actually see that talent perform. Whether it is on stage at Ghostlight, Twin City Players, which is also there in the community, various theaters in and around the Southwest Michigan area, put some top-notch stuff on, and so it's great to be a part of that. I mean, as a performer, certainly great to be part of an organization that's supporting it, or helping fund those things. So important to keep that alive, because we have great talent. It's great to expose a lot of people to that, and you're lucky to live in a community when you're in that space. I'm in Chicago. Sometimes I see stuff that is less quality, I think, honestly, than when I was able to see when I was in the Southwest Michigan area.
Yeah, and for people who know you directly, you move at a million miles an hour, and to go from corporate America, where you are working in electric appliances, to now you're in a cover band. I never thought I would say this. You're in a cover band covering the Cars, for people who are familiar with that, and it's called the Electric Cars. How did you possibly get involved with this?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it was something I always loved, and probably pandemic hits a lot of people in a lot of ways. Well, for me, I was locked in my basement when I had caught COVID, was there for that sort of 10-day period, and pulled out an old dusty keyboard and started playing around on it. And I thought, oh gosh, this is a lot of fun. I was actually attending School of Rock with my daughter, who's a performer as well, and saw an ad for somebody who was looking for a keyboardist. Applied and talked to this band who was doing the Cars, and I said, you got to be kidding me, that's like my youth. I loved listening to the Cars, whether it was Just What I Needed or Shake It Up. I mean, that was like the MTV generation. So tried out, battled against several other keyboardists, and somehow made it through the gauntlet. And last year, probably February or March, I became their official keyboardist, and we've been out touring around both the south, the sort of west suburbs here in the Chicago area, and now getting outside the state, because believe it or not, a lot of people still remember who the Cars are and love their music.
What's that life like, being a band member in a cover band?
Well, you would not believe it. It is not what they sort of sell as a romanticized version of being in a band. It's a lot of lugging all of your own equipment around, going to tiny little bars, joints, and playing a lot of songs people know and love and get up and dance to, and then some deep cuts that they're sort of introspectively saying, "I wonder what's going on here." So I'll say, being in that sort of space of covering a band, you get to try to mimic a little bit of the persona, bring a little bit more to life. But most of all, I think we get the chance to both bring new fans in who can almost remember what those tunes are like, and then really deliver to the people who've been lifelong fans some of the things that they've been looking for. So it's been awesome. I will tell you that I have enjoyed every minute of it, even those grueling moments at about 1 a.m. when you're packing back up and thinking about having to go to work the next day.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that you're going to be performing, your group, the Electric Cars. Am I getting that right? The
You
Electric
got it.
Cars are going to be performing at the Acorn in February. Details?
Yeah, February 24th, I believe 8 p.m. is our start time. Really excited to play the Acorn. A really cool story about that. The person who books the talent there actually lives in our neighborhood. And I
Oh,
played their New Year's Eve celebration, and I was blown away by the crowd. We had about 250 people dancing and having a great time. And afterwards he said, "You know what I need? I need you to play in Michigan for me." And he said the Acorn was the place that he'd wanted us to play. And I said I love that. I was a fan of the Acorn Theater and was super excited to be able to do it. So it was cool local connections on both sides, and I can't wait to get back on the 24th.
it's a great place to see a show. I've seen the Dirty Dozen brass band there. I saw a cover band of Steely Dan there. And then I was also supposed to see a Fleetwood Mac cover band, but I'm going to be in Chicago at the time. So
Well, I'll tell you what. I hope you can come out and see us play some Cars hits. Welcome me to see a crazy performance, I hope, and see yet one more slice of Brett Lutz's life that you may never have wanted to see.
do you have a favorite Cars song?
Oh, I do. Drive is my favorite. It's very keys heavy. It's one of their slower jams, but it's one of those emotionally resonant hits that it reminded me of trying to find a girlfriend when I was a teenager. So I wasn't very successful, by the way, but it still brings back good memories.
You eventually succeeded. You're good. You're good like that.
Eventually.
All right, Brett. Brett Lutz, keyboardist with the Electric Cars, playing at the Acorn in February. Check out their website for more information. Thanks, Brett.
Thanks so much, Ken.